Well, good morning. It's now about 8:30 in the morning on Sunday the 18th of May I think it is. I'm Andy and this is my allotment. Right, no film last week as I was away all weekend, but this week I thought I'd give you a quick run around my plot, very quick. Not a lot to show you that's gone on, to be honest, and then I'll have a quick walk around the rest of the allotment. Something I did a while back but haven't done since, and I think it'll be interesting to see what everybody else is doing and how far they've got it on. Right, as far as mine's concerned, as you can probably see here, this was the manure pile which I cleared all the grass on 2 weeks ago, and there's loads come back. It's obviously going to be an ongoing project, but I'm going to be clearing this area over the next week and building another raised bed, same size to that one, is going to go in here. So all this can be dug over anyway, and so hopefully that will then sort out the weed problem, well, part of it at least, because as you can see, the pile goes past the end of the raised bed that I've got there, so I've got to dig part of it out anyway. The swede are continuing to flower in here, and I have 2 Brussels sprout plants out of the 9 I put in there which survived. The rest have been slugged, unfortunately. In this bed the perpetual spinach is still doing well, as is the chard. I've also got some lettuce there which have been transplanted in from seeds that were grown before, all little gem. I've also got in here some beetroot, some carrot, some radish and some rocket, all of which is doing well. They're all coming up nicely. Getting a little bit eaten by slugs in some places, but there are some pellets down now, so hopefully that's a thing of the past. Onions doing well. A lot of grass growing up between them. I need to get in here and do some hoeing. Not got a lot to do today, a lot of time rather to do stuff today, because I've got to be at church at 10 o'clock, picking my lad up at 10 o'clock, my grandson, to go to church, and then we've got him for the rest of the day, so Sundays are a washout as far as gardening is concerned down here. Gooseberries and blackcurrants. Oops, falling over boxes. Loads of gooseberries coming on here. Let's see if I can show you some. Well, there's one there at least, but there's plenty of gooseberries around on all the plants, doing really well. Blackcurrants, not so many coming on, but we have got some. In fact, see if I can find some. Yeah, a lot on there, I hope you can see. I've got a big plant at home I get loads from, so that's great. Raspberries over there are flowering quite nicely. Strawberries on the other side, I'll walk over and show you. They're doing really well. The big bed that the grapevine is in there is just completely overgrown, so ignore that one. But as you can see down here, lots of white flowers all the way down the row. Rhubarb, which is another reason I'm down here, to harvest some rhubarb for my stepdad. Doing really well, absolutely fantastic. Pond, very green. There were loads and loads of tadpoles in there, but loads of newts, so I'm not sure how many tadpoles have survived and how many newts have eaten, but hey, so what. This table is now overflowing. I've got lots of peas, beans, fennel, all sorts on there. Strawberries at the back have been recovered yesterday. We did a working day on the allotment, doing all the communal areas. We had a big strawberry bed that needed tidying out, so those are the spare strawberries which I've rescued. I'm going to be donating these up to a friend of mine who's running a plant sale for the local museum in Saddleworth. Those more strawberries that I've dug out of mine, they're all going up to him as well, so this will all be gone, because the museum plant sale at Upper Mill Museum is on the 1st of June. So if you're in the area, it's always worth going to. It's free to go in, and I've had loads of plants from there in the past. But anyway, enough of the plug, let's move on. Inside the polytunnel. Now, last time I showed you this, it was under 2 inches of water. Still a bit of a mess in there, but it's drying out. Lots of greenery coming up on the plants that are in there, especially the parsnips. I'll just show you the parsnips, I'm quite proud of those. Never grown parsnips before, I've got loads. And also here I've got some all sorts of bits and pieces which I should really label up. The only thing I'm sure of in there is that I've got some pickling cucumbers, and I've also got some purple basil, which is very obvious it's purple. Well, I've got to label that up. Last time when I did this I didn't have labels. I relied on my video and I've simply not watched it back while I've been here. Beans. Now, it's a failure on beans, to be honest. There should have been, let's see, 32 beans in there, and some bush variety, some climber variety, all French beans. And so far I've got about 9 plants. so not doing so well with those, no idea why. And I've got some tomatoes at the top there and one pepper plant, various varieties. I've got a couple of green zebras, I've got tomato, Shirley, Alicante and the pepper, which I bought in because I didn't plant any of my own in time. Got some potatoes down there, still need to go into buckets. Now the reason that the polytunnel has dried out is because I've dug an additional drainage trench. That was full of water when I dug it, it's now drained away because that connects onto the main drain, which is here, down by my feet, and then continues along that underneath that path and off down the orchard way, where you see all the long grass. That isn't my plot, by the way, down there, so I'm not too concerned about the grass, apart from the fact it's still getting rather long. We can't cut it because there's a great big trench going all the way through the middle of it. And then the other reason it's drained is because I have another trench here. It's after my shadow. Sorry about that. All I've done is simply dig a small trench there, which has drained everything from up there and from in front of the polytunnel, hopefully from the polytunnel as well. That trench is going to be extended to go underneath the weed fabric there to where that flag is and join on with the other trench. So that should give me a nice drainage system, but I need a pipe for it first and some stone. Now where I'm standing now, yesterday at this time I couldn't have seen it because it was under huge amounts of grass, and that's where the nettles were that you saw in the previous video. The stuff was getting ridiculous, it was getting to nearly 3 foot high. So I borrowed a lawnmower and went over it all. This is the result, complete mayhem. A lot of long grass around the edges where I couldn't actually get the mower to, but I'm going to have a go at that with a strimmer, probably Tuesday, Wednesday night maybe even Monday, depends on what the weather's like and how much time I have. But it's a lot better, I do feel a lot better for it. Right, potatoes, doing rather nicely. These on the left hand side here are Cara, which are flying away. The third row in is Sapo Mira. Now some of those are only just showing, so they're really slow to come out. And then the right hand side is Pink Fir Apple, which are doing well. A couple of small spindly plants, but mostly okay. This bed here, I can excuse the weeds, I've got to get rid of a lot of these around the edges. This is Red Duke of York, apart from the row at the top end, which is Pink Fir Apple. All doing well. And in this bed here is Maris Pier. Now on the videos I've gone from about Maris Bar to Maris Pier and back again. It's definitely Maris Pier. There's one plant in the middle which isn't doing so well, and one which I don't think has come up at all. Now one interesting thing, when we had the frost a few weeks back, I noticed that the potatoes at that end of the bed had been caught, but not this end. And in here, the potatoes at this end of the bed have been caught by the frost, but not that end. And first of all, we thought that this pile of flags was providing shelter. We thought it's giving shelter two ways. Then we had another think about it, and what we think has happened is that these flags have soaked up the sun through the day and radiated the heat out at night, which has meant the potatoes on either side have had like a little warm jacket around them from the heat from these flags, and the flags on that side of course, because they'll have done the same thing. And these at this end haven't had that protection, and those at that end, and that's why they've been okay. Right, end of my plot. I'm now going to have a little wander around and see how everybody else is doing. Okay, going to start at the bottom end here. Now this one with all the raised boxes on used to be Tony's, but he had to give his allotment up earlier this year because he's moved out of the area. And so this has now been taken on by Alison and Adrian, and as you can see there's a lot of clearance been done on the beds, and there's some plants growing. It looks like they've got some potatoes in over there, and potatoes here, and some lettuce. This is the first year that Adrian and Alison have been with us. End of last year they took on a plot that had not had really a lot done with it, covered it in manure and left it for the winter. Then this year they've taken this one on, which I think they've been quite lucky. They've ended up with quite a mature plot with a polytunnel, and overall it's doing well. Good start anyway. Right, this plot here, this is Dawn's. Lovely, neat and tidy. They came and cut the grass yesterday. We had virtually every single person who has a plot down here on yesterday, which is great. So, a lot of leeks, a lot of rhubarb, some black currants by the looks of it. Not a lot much else at the moment, but she doesn't get time to come down very often. She comes down when she can, but has all the kids in tow, so it does make it life difficult. Okay, this one is Michaela's plot. And she's got Janet helping her now. She did have her uncle last year, but he hurt his back. And I think Janet's looking after this bottom end of the plot where we've got some potatoes in, quite a large amount of lettuce all close together, some beans, and they've also taken on this bottom triangle. If you look from straight down from there to that compost pile, that's all theirs now as well, and they're going to cultivate that a little bit later. But for now it's all cut back, and the orchard has all been cut. It's looking really, really nice now it's been cut back. That's really good. So moving up Michaela's plot. I'm not sure that's onions or garlic, but something of that. Some more onions and garlic there. Nice raised bed there that's doing well. Some rhubarb. And they had a bit of a mishap with the rhubarb. So when they were clearing the bed, Janet's other half was busily taking everything out and came across the rhubarb and thought it was a weed. Okay. Anyway, it's survived, it's growing back, and it'll come back quite strong I think, because rhubarb doesn't like being cut back. She's got loads of strawberries in. And she's got a mixture of small raised beds, as you can see. She's got little edge beds like these, and then she's got a large raised bed there, or edged bed. So quite a mixture of different things. And of course, the obligatory sun trap. Okay, Diane's plot. Diane's been on here one of the longest, has got the most mature plot. She's got huge beds with everything stuck in it. So we've got currants here, which are doing really well with lots of currants on. She does like a rhubarb, sort of spreading halfway across the plot here. More currants and potatoes looking good. Got wigwams up already for beans, but nothing planted in the bottom yet. I presume they're in a greenhouse. And I think that looks like a celery of some sort. But altogether, looking very good. So there's lots and lots of growth on here. Very few weeds on here, just odd patches here and there. But she is on quite a lot, so she does live next door. Makes life easy. Okay, let's move on up the path. Right, we're now coming to John's plot. John's gone for raised beds with these covers over. Got quite a lot of things in there, seeds, lots of cabbage and cauliflower seeds in there, some dill, other bits and pieces coming up, sage in there as well, which is flowering. This is his mustard green, which is very, very mustardy. I've had some and it's blow your socks off type. Strawberries, and at the top end up here he's got potatoes, which are doing really well. Some at the back must be his first earlies, and the ones this side second earlies or main crop maybe. Don't think there's anything in this little bit here, but John comes on quite a lot as well. Now this is David's plot. He's our chicken man, and they all think they're being fed because I'm coming towards them. He also has this bit at the back which is getting a bit overgrown. Really needs to get on with clearing some of this I think. Like I see, strawberry bed at the back, but all the brassicas are going yellow and going to seed. And there's something there that looks like a foxglove of some sort. Don't know. Broad beans, can see, and raspberries over there as well, coming up through quite strongly, and some onions at this end. Just a bit of work to get cleared up on there for him. Okay, this one here with the mini raised beds, well not mini raised beds but square raised beds, is Ian's. He's got it looks like lots of broad beans coming up here, cabbages of some sort, and a bluebell in the middle of it all. Okay, onions at the far side, and loads and loads of strawberries, all with lovely white flowers on them. None of them with black centres, so it looks like we've escaped the frost up here. I've got none which have gone black, which is a sign that your strawberry flower's been hit by frost that won't produce a berry. So it looks like we're going to have a bumper crop of strawberries here this year. This bit here is also Ian's. He's got himself a compost bin and a new greenhouse. Now I helped him bring that down to the plot last August, September I think it was. We run it on free cycle for nothing. I went with him to help him pick it up. We transported it down here. We only broke 2 panes of glass. I think he broke 2 or 3 more putting it up together because it's been stood for ages. But he's got a fully working greenhouse now. Unfortunately nothing in it as yet, but well, we'll see. Right, I'll finish off on this side of the allotment first, then move to the other side. Got one small quarter plot here, which is Jimmy's. And he's got a lot in it. Lots of Onions coming up, nice big onions in there already. They must have overwintered, I'm not sure if he did or not, but looks good. And climbing frame for his beans. Well, they're broad beans, so I'm not sure why they've got a climbing frame, but they've got flowers on already, which is good. Behind there's another climbing frame with nothing climbing it at the moment, and some brassicas in the corners. And this looks like his fruit bed. A couple of fruit bushes in there, black currants or red currants maybe, not sure which. But not bad at all. On a rhubarb in a pot. Okay. This one is Len's. Len has also been on here for most of the time the allotment's been up and running. So he's got some nice raised beds here. Len does suffer quite a lot with flooding when we have a lot of rain. This path here is normally underwater when it rains hard. But despite that, he's done really well with it. It's looking really, really nice. Got lots of flagstones behind. It's the sort of design I like, because it's nice and easy to walk around. There's no problems getting between your beds. Nice wide paths. Loads and loads of rhubarb there. Lots of fruit on his currants. I'm not sure which that one is. It's fanning out quite nicely. I'm not sure if it's... I don't know what that is. With Len, I don't think it's an ornamental. I think it must be fruit, but I don't know which one. Some fruit trees in pots, and he's got some lovely, lovely, nice raised beds. Edged beds here. He's got a little mini cultivator tiller, which he uses to go over these and over them and over them. And as you can see, the result is a really, really nice fine tilt on these. Fantastic. He has had problems with our resident foxes a few times, which is why it looks like Fort Colditz down there with all the wire mesh. Chicken wire rather, around the beds. Last year they used to take great fun in digging up his onions and carry them around the plot, so he'd come on and he'd have to go hunt the onion. But this year he's planted his onions, as I said, inside the mesh, so the foxes are either not on or they're not bothering him this year, and they look wonderful, really nice. I wish mine looked half as good as this, to be honest. There's one or two gaps in the row where I think an onion's failed, but yeah, we're all going to get that, aren't we? And these potatoes. Again, he's done trenches with the potatoes. He's put boards in at one end because the trench was collapsing in on them before they were ready. And again with this one, more potatoes in there. And he's got a greenhouse which is absolutely chock-a-block with loads of things. Absolutely. Okay, we'll move on. This plot here with the blue plastic on is Terry's. Terry's not been on a lot this year. He's only been on 3 or 4 times because of illness and stuff like that, which is unfortunate because last year he was doing really, really good with it. But he's been on and done a bit, but the weeds are coming back as fast as he took them out, to be honest. And that pile of stuff is what we left on the ground from last year. And he's took it all out. And some of the biggest carrots I've seen for ages, and fantastic Swedes and what have you. But unfortunately, because he's left them in the ground that long, they've been slugged. Absolutely, completely and utterly. So, not a lot to show you on Terry's because most of it's quite overgrown, and anyway. Now this one is Ken's. He's got a little mini greenhouse here, which is brilliant for the size of the plot. He's only got half a plot, and he's got absolutely loads in there. There's tomatoes in there, there's what looks like carrots in tubes, there's collies, also the sort of brassica in there. Absolutely fantastic. That's going to be really good when it all goes out. There's onions down here, it's got potatoes in buckets, and a couple of beds waiting ready for things to go in. His compost bin pile. Now the one on the left hand side is last year's compost, which he's been working on, and he's basically built all this up, and he's been riddling it and sieving it and getting some fantastic compost out of it, and then all the new stuff is going in the next bin, which is sort of arrangement I'm trying to do with my own. But see how we go. Right. Plot at the bottom here is David Jones. He has a flow pot the same as I do. He's got potatoes here in front of his polytunnel. On the side of there I think there's more potatoes coming up. Strawberries on the far side with all the straw around it, which is what I've got to do with mine. More potatoes over there. Polytunnel the similar sort to mine, but he hasn't blown away yet. Beans and peas at this end. And he did have some Jerusalem artichokes down here last year. Can't see them coming up this year, but maybe they're coming up later. Oh, hang on. I think that might be them in the middle there, coming up in the middle of his onions. That's some Jerusalem artichokes there. area at the top here, which is not actually got anything on at the moment. All been trimmed back, cut back, which is great. Oh, one other thing I haven't shown you actually is that we now have a composting loo on the site, which is really good. Just give you a quick look inside. For those of you not seeing what a composting loo looks like, this is it in here. What you basically got is, we have a toilet seat, we have a bucket with a pile of sawdust in it. The idea is when you've used the loo, you put some sawdust on top of it. When it gets half full, we empty it out into a compost bin, and then it gets left to compost for 2 or 3 years, and then we can use it. We've also got a sink with a water foot pump, so put your foot on that, a bit of water, so you can wash your hands. We've got some sanitizer and a towel and everything you need really. And because of the white walls, as you can see, it's actually very, very bright in here, even when it's going dark. So, well, you've now seen a composting loo, which I'm sure was fascinating for you all. Okay, move on past David's plot now. We'll have a look at a couple of others up there. This area to the left is a communal area. It's too small and under the trees, so what we've done with here is we've planted up some fruit bushes. There's some blackcurrant bushes in here which have been left to grow a little bit. They're going slowly, but we're hopeful that they will grow and give us some fruit and actually cover this area and make it easier for us to maintain it. Okay. On the left here is Steve's plot, which is also doing well. It's got a greenhouse, got some raised beds at the back end there, and a couple of cold frames, which is doing really nicely. And then this top half of the plot is Simon's. Simon's another new plot holder. He's not been with us that long, but he's getting on fantastically. We've got a greenhouse here with a couple of panes of glass in it. Look, it's a bit wobbly, unfortunately. A bit leaning to the front, but I'm sure he'll sort that out, because obviously with a greenhouse you need to have it fairly level, so the panes of glass don't shift like those look like they have done. So this little bit here is Pete's, and again he's doing fantastically. Lots and lots of brassicas in here with a big cage over the top, which is brilliant to see. Some onions, rhubarb, or garlic maybe, and some onions over there. Strawberries, another bed of what looks like shallots. A bed that's not being used. Some lettuce covered over netting. More greens and potatoes. And he's even got himself a little lawn with a tree in the middle of it. Really nice. I do like this one. Very good. And he's got a little polytunnel as well. Okay, let's keep on going. Nearly coming to the end now. So, if you've stayed with this long, thanks very much. This is Sue and Stuart's. Got some lovely comfrey there. And again, we've got some not exactly raised beds, but more edged than raised, I think. I've got the soil is quite high in these. Again, we've got the chicken wire around to protect the onions. Path down the middle so you can get down the middle. And what looks like perhaps shallots here on the right, or maybe just big onions. And some others on this left hand side. Big onions at the bottom there. Some lots of poached egg flowers. I'm not sure what these are, to be honest. But they're looking good. Also some nasturtiums in this end here, in my shadow. And some fruit at that end. This is all looking good, really, really nice now. Everywhere is looking really good, with a couple of exceptions that need a bit of work on for places, my plot included. I'll show you this next plot. This is our newest plot holders here on this top end. This is Dawn and Lee, I believe, and they've only been with us since beginning of May, and this is the area that Alice and Adrian had and dumped all the manure on last year and then left it. By the time we got to spring this year, it was knee deep in grass. So what they've done here is they've dug it all out, they've rotivated it, and yesterday they spent the time putting in this new large raised or edged bed. They're going to take some of the manure from the other side of it, pile it into here, and make this their main growing bed at the moment, and they just work on it slowly, bit by bit. Keep the rest under control and then work on one bed, which I think is probably the best way of doing it. So altogether, I think they're doing really well. It's a good start, very good start. They've got a fruit tree in and a couple of currant bushes down there by the looks of it. So they've got stuff in the ground, which is good to see. Have a quick look at the apiary where the bees are. We had a swarm yesterday that escaped. It's quite wonderful to see actually. It flew right over my head as it went out. A mini swarm. And we've got quite a few boxes here with lots of bees being very active. The small boxes, like this one here and the blue one on the black box down there, they are what are called nucleus boxes. That's where a swarm has been caught and put in those temporarily while it establishes itself and gets comfortable, and then the idea is that it will then move from that to the permanent hive home. Now these boxes down here on the left hand side are Diane's. The white box at the back is John's. These two here at the front and that nucleus box there are Len and Sue's. And then the one at the back that's leading precariously is mine. Not got any bees in that yet because I'm taking the blue nucleus box from over there in about a week's time. If it's established itself, I'm having that, but by then I should have levelled that off properly. That's only just the temporary position for it, and hopefully it'll be okay and we'll get the bees in there. And those are for my wife, because she wanted bees. She's wanted bees for a long time, so hopefully she'll have some nice bees which will give us lots and lots of lovely honey. Anyway, that's the allotment as it stands at the moment. So it's probably about 9 o'clock now, so all I've got time to do is really harvest the rhubarb. Anyway, I'll leave you with that wonderful view of a blue sky over a Manchester allotment. Not something you see very much. Bye for now.